Hello folks, with Season 2, Delves have had a bunch of changes that will mean that you'll be able to get better gear faster than ever before. So I wanted to do a fresh update of my top tips to get the best out of Delves and to make sure that you can maximise your progress and gear rewards. Tip number 1 is to go higher. In Season 1, Delve rewards topped out at level 8. And the only reason to do levels 9 through to 11 were for bragging rights or to unlock Zekvir's hard mode. But with Season 2, one of the biggest issues with Delve gearing, which was that upgrading the hero track gear that you got from the vault beyond item level 619 was glacially slow, has been fixed. In Season 2, the level 9 to 11 Delves now award higher amounts of ruined crests, and it doesn't end there. The first 3 level 11 delves that you do each week will also award you 7 gilded crests each, meaning you can get 21 per week. That's about 1.5 upgrades. This will make it possible over the season to eventually upgrade those hero track gear that you get from the vault all the way to item level 665. That's just 4 upgrade levels short of the maximum possible of 678. Add in the fact that upgrading those lower level crests up to gilded is now a lot cheaper than it was at the start of Season 1, and that we can expect to see Delver's Bounty maps, which will continue to award bonus gilded crests from level 8 plus delves a lot more frequently, and the days of being stuck with partially upgraded hero track gear are going to be gone. Tip number 2 is to spend your gilded crests on crafted gear. With gilded crests being a lot more plentiful, especially later in the season, and the cost of crafting the best gear reduced from 90 gilded crests down to 60, and spending your gilded crests on crafted gear is now a very viable option. A rank 5 item crafted with gilded crests is item level 675. That's just 1 upgrade step down from that 678 maximum. It costs you 30 gilded crests to fully upgrade a hero track item, but that's only to item level 665, which means that if you have the goal to purchase crafted gear, then spending your crests on crafting will give you a lot more bang for your buck. There are, though, a couple of limitations to be aware of. Firstly, you cannot convert crafted items to tier set, so you will want to still use your gilded crest to upgrade your hero track tier 4 set once you have it. And also be aware that there's only one crafted trinket available, which in my view isn't a very good trinket compared to the trinkets that drop from delves, so you will likely also want to stick with upgrading your hero track trinkets too. But no matter what, if you enjoy delves enough to fill the delve row in the Great Vault every week of the season, you're going to end up with gear levels that are going to be very close to those that usually only Mythic Raiders and Mythic Plus players see, which will be pretty handy when you face off against the Underpin on hard mode later on. Tip number 3 is how to make the best of Bran. Level 11 delves have been reduced in difficulty, but for casters and healers they can still be a pretty major challenge, and even if you play a tank or a melee DPS, they can still take a hot while to complete, which does mean that you want to make the best of Bran just to make those runs a little bit easier. If you're a DPS or a tank, I recommend setting up Bran as a hybrid build at first. What this means is that you set Bran to be healer, but you use damage focused curios. I recommend using the Goblomagnetic Bouncing Grenade for your combat curio and the Pacifist Rig for your utility curio. The Pacifist Rig summons a mech suit for you and turns you into a mobile flame rocket thrower. Now, if you do find that a bit annoying and hard to get to grips with, then the biofuel rocket gear is probably the best alternative for your utility curio. Once you get to a point where you feel that you're comfortable and you don't have any survival issues when you're doing your level 11 delves, at that point I suggest that you swap Bran over to DPS, as that will speed things up quite a bit. If you're a healer, then you want to set Bran to tank, along with using the Mechasaur Easy Build Kit as your combat curio and the Pacifist Rig as your utility curio. If you don't have those recommended curios yet, then don't worry, just fill the slots with one of the highest ranked curios that you have. Tip number 5 is to not waste your keys and maps. The The restored coffer keys allow you to unlock the Bountiful chest in a Bountiful delve, giving you a guaranteed loot item. This chest only awards champion track gear starting from level 7. So while you're working your way up to level 7, I recommend that you don't use your keys. It's also worth knowing that a level 7 delve drops 1 out of 8 champion gear, but a level 8 and above drops 3 out of 8, saving you 30 carved crests. So it is worth considering holding your keys for an extra level. Level 8 is also where you start to unlock that hero track gear from the vault, so this really is the minimum target that you want to aim for as soon as you can manage it. Now, if you find you are struggling to progress to doing 7s or 8s, then yes, do use those keys in lower ranked delves to get some better gear to help you progress. But if you don't absolutely need that gear, then using the key on those lower delves is at that point just wasting it. The same applies for the Delver's Bounty maps. The extra chest that the map generates only gives you gilded crests from level 8 delves and above, which means that you will want to hold onto your maps until you get to those level 8s. In Season 1, the level of the Delver's Bounty map was based on the level of the delve from which it drops. But that has now been changed, and it's now based on the level of the delve that you do. Tip number 6 is that you don't need keys to fill your Great Vault. The Great Vault does not care if you use a restored coffer key or not, nor does it even care if a vault is bountiful. So even if you run out of keys for the week, don't let that stop you doing delves if you still have time to fill up the vault. In the early weeks, where pretty much anything from the vault will be an upgrade, it really doesn't matter so much. But later on, as you have fewer slots that you can get gear upgrades on, getting more chances at more items does reduce the risk of getting a dead vault quite a bit. Tip number 7 is to always loot those shinies. Bran's abilities do get stronger as he levels up. And while you don't really notice the difference going from level to level, those levels do add up. And 10 extra levels have quite a big impact, not just on the success of the delve, but in helping to speed them up a lot, especially at those higher delve levels where the NPCs do feel a bit like damage sponges. Bran does get XP from just doing the delves, so most of your leveling is pretty passive, but dotted around the delves are little shiny urns, and all of those can grant bonus XP for Bran, and it's quite a lot of bonus XP. But do keep in mind he only gets XP from bountiful delves, so there's no point doing this in non-bountiful delves for the most part. On to number 8, and it is to make sure you loot those chests and kill the rares in the delve. Both the rares and the chests give you bonus abilities, and these also will help to speed the delve run up quite a bit. That said, during early progress, if you are struggling with survival, those rares can be quite dangerous, and in that case it may be safer to skip them rather than risking losing a precious life. And on the subject of those lives, tip number 9 is to not kill the end boss of a delve when you have 0 lives left. If you do, you will lose out on the most valuable rewards like better gear and crests, and the delve will also lose its bountiful status, meaning that you cannot rerun it that day, at least if you want a chance at those better rewards. On the other hand, if you walk out of an incomplete delve, it remains bountiful, allowing you to go back in and have another go. And my final tip is how to use those health potions. If you're not a tank player, then do make sure to use those health potions that Bran drops. While they don't feel like they do very much when you walk over one, they apply a heal over time effect, which is actually quite powerful. And this does mean it does matter how and when you use them. Instead of trying to keep the potions for emergencies, it's much better to walk over them proactively whenever your health is below around 75%. And then wait for the heal over time to drop off before picking up your next. Doing this will help to keep your health topped up during longer fights and bigger pools. Now, I said it was going to be top 10 tips in the title, but here's a bonus 11th, which is don't forget to visit the vendors. The undercount you get from running vaults allows you to buy a bunch of cosmetic items, including customizations for both the Season 1 and Season 2 delve mounts, which you can get for Sir Finlay Murgleton, who hangs out near Bran and Dornegal. And as you progress your Delver's journey, you'll also unlock some more customizations from Reno Jackson and later on access to more restored coffer keys. Personally, I feel that by the time you do unlock those keys, you probably won't need the gear, but I guess they'll still be there if you do. So there it is, my 11 top tips to boost both your delve progress and your fun. I've personally been having an absolute blast doing delves, but what about you? Is the prospect of being able to get even higher gear making you a delver this time around, or are you just in it for those cosmetics? Let me know down below. And if you've made it to the end of this video, then a huge thanks for staying the course. All of your watches, likes and subs make a massive difference to help my channel grow and reach a broader audience. And if you haven't already, then do make sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribing is by far the best way to support my channel. And if you do subscribe, also consider hitting the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video goes live. I've a ton of cool guides, previews and updates to come, along with my regular Saturday news updates. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.